Hey everybody out there, my name is Dragnix, and this is Party Hard. It comes out on August 25th, and it is a serial killer strategy type game, is the best way that I can put it. But before I begin this Let's Try, I want to make sure you guys know that this key was obtained from the developer for the purposes of reviewing and taking a look at the game critically. Alright, so there are 9 maps that are unlocked at this point. I've played about 4 hours into the game, so keep that in mind. I'm going to play the third one just because I think it's a good representation of what the game has to offer at this point. But basically, you're a serial killer who's just trying to get some sleep. He was a poor guy trying to get some sleep, and he's just sort of cracked at this point. So now you have to kill everyone, of course, because that's the logical outcome to this. Now, I'm going to play, and I'm going to be sort of the silly person here. Start you off by just walking into the club and, trying to figure out what to do first. And a bouncer's going to beat the crap out of me. Yeah, you see, certain characters do have certain personalities, although really when it comes down to it, it's really the bouncers. Certain characters will act differently, like lovers will go off into the corner and you can actually surprise them. But of course, there's other ways to get into these buildings, like this sort of trap door there. So now, you'll see on the top left-hand corner, there's points and kills. And the idea here is that, well, I have to kill everyone to get through to the next portion. And so, I start stabbing. Now, obviously, if somebody sees you stab someone, they're going to call the police, and then things will get interesting. You see, the police will be able to take you out in one hit, and basically, once you're caught, you're done for. And your job is to silently kill as many people as you can without them getting to the phone to be able to cause you a little bit of problems in terms of the police. Now, you'll notice the police came in and actually sort of, put body bags on the bodies and just left them there. A little bit problematic for the police force. I mean, they're being a little lazy there. But the thing is that is actually rather important. If you leave a body out and somebody discovers it, they're going to go and, call the police. But if you're near it, they will call the police and finger you as the killer at that point. Or, on the flip side, if you were to happen to, let's say, put a body next to it that was sleeping, as you see there, I interact with the environment, but if you put a body that's sleeping next to it, they'll finger that person next to it. So it's sort of a cool mechanic there. You can actually pin murders on other people, which is actually interesting. Now, you saw earlier there, I used the card to sort of cause a interactable to, well, take out that, front guard at that point. There are certain objects in the environment in which you can interact. They're one-time uses most of the time. As you see here, I'm going to set the speaker on fire. And, well, anyone close to it, well, it's going to not do well for them. Let's just put it that way. Now, obviously, in this case, it looks like an accident, and therefore, they're not coming after me, even though I was in the vicinity at this point. Now, this is the basic gameplay, and there are some randomization in terms of some elements in the field, in terms of some of those interactables, but really when it comes down to it, the maps are relatively the same. So you could either optimize your strategy and figure out what's the best way of doing things. Now, with that said, you'll notice there's a lot of people on screen, and I think what's one of the sort of up and downs of this game. Some of the problems that the game has is that there may be too many people in one area, and if you're trying to actually specifically take out, 1 or 2 people without being caught, well, that's not going to work. And again, the controls here, they can run as fast as you, so you won't be able to sort of, slash your way through all these people. So there is this sort of weird dynamic there in terms of, killing people, but they'll get to a phone if you just start stabbing people, regular basis at that point. Now, you can hide bodies, which is actually important in terms of not being discovered in certain cases, or hide them in dumpsters. But when it comes down to it, it's all about positioning, whether or not you take out a kill where nobody able to see, and you can sort of just get yourself out of the situation in terms of no one's going to, come on you in terms of, oh, hey, wait, what was that body and what were you doing there? Now, in terms of the map variety, I don't think the map variety is too strong. The thing is the game's core concept is good. The idea here is that, again, if you're playing this as a stealth game, I think the game does very well in terms of, picking your opportunities. You need to be patient, and if you're a little bit impatient, guess what? It's going to sort of explode in your face. However, on the flip side of that, the point system also sort of counterbalances it. For higher scores, you're going to need to be faster. For higher scores, you're going to need to be more creative with your kills, or hide bodies and things like that. Use items like the sword here. Now, people will go on their paths in terms of just, randomly walking around, and so that's when you're going to find the opportunity to sort of, take out certain people. You also have abilities to affect that at times. Sometimes you can order in a pizza, and people will sort of swarm to it. Other times, you can dance. Yes, you have a dance button, and you can either draw people toward you or away from you depending on the situation. It's sort of random from what I see, but from what I've seen, you can actually, sort of herd people away from a specific spot if they're all sort of congregating, if you're just, use it in the right moment. On the flip side, sometimes they will beat the crap out of you and cause you to be knocked over. This game has a sense of subtle comedy to it that I really enjoy. It's not the overall arching story that's sort of comical in my opinion. That's actually done with some seriousness to it, even though there is an element of comedy, but it's more the little elements of this game with getting knocked out by the person after you're dancing for a period of time, or seeing people wander into a bathroom and just sort of start over the toilet, start hurling at that point just because it's a party. Now, if you're looking for variety in gameplay here, you're not going to get it. And I like this one guy who's just dancing here just by himself, just hey, I'm still having fun. But if you're looking for variety, that's where the game, I don't think, has a good sort of lifespan about it. The problem is that you're doing the same thing over and over again. And you may get some different items, but the core of the game is the same. Now, you'll notice here that I actually missed this guy. But he didn't technically see me make the kill, and so I just sort of walked away from it. So he was running, seeing oh, I saw a different body, but on the flip side, I killed 2 other people. It sort of worked out. I'm not sure how in that point. Now, in this case, I decided, well, I need to show you guys exactly what happens when the police actually get on me. So after this one cop decides to leave, I will make a choice here. I probably could have killed that guy right there, but, I was a little bit okay, I need to show off some of these other mechanics. I'm just pretending I'm, part of the crew. After 30 people are dead in your club, I'm not sure if I would want to party there anymore. Probably not. Now, there is some rules to the Party Hard mechanics in terms of, line of sight and listening. In particular, your left button is listen, and it's what shows you what traps are, but it also shows you if people are in earshot of your, of you killing someone. All right, so this guy is actually going to get away. Yep. And so he's going to call the police. He definitely saw me, so I'm going to get this sort of arrest warrant on me, and I'm going to run away. Now, if you run away from the cops for the first time, they're going to get harder each time. And here I'm going to use the sort of secret portion to run away. Now you'll notice that Mario all of a sudden showed up in the top right hand corner there, and basically he's going to take out the sort of hidden entrance there just so that I can't use it again, and he will do that for any of them that I used at that point. So it's a one-time escape deal. He's not so happy about the fact that I probably killed somebody right there, but he doesn't care. All he wants to do is bash stuff. Party Hard is a weird game for me because, again, its core concept is good. Its variety will start to wear on you, and while the core concept's good, I wish there was a little bit more variety in terms of, the levels were a little bit more diverse. Again, you've seen the core here, and the core stays the same relatively, and so you still have to take out 49 people. You may have some different traps, but it doesn't play that much differently. Now, if you're the score attack kind of person, this will work for you because, again, you can optimize your sort of score every single run at that point. And for some reason, he's thinking he's going to find some love over there. He's going to find some love with a knife, unfortunately. Now, part of the reason I fast-forwarded here is the fact that, it is very slow going especially when you get groups of people and you have to divert them at that point. Now, here, for example, I'm very quick and I stab 3 people in succession. Works out perfectly fine there. It doesn't all the time. Let's just put it that way. Now, trying to hit people while moving can be something that will take a little bit of time. You move at relatively the same speed as people, if not a little bit slower. However, you do have the ability to sprint, and sprint does take stamina. Your stamina bar is very, very small, though, and it takes a while for it to recover at times, so you have to really use it wisely. I really do wish there was a way to bring up the stamina without using stamina, just to see how refreshed it was, because again, that could be very important, especially if the cops come all of a sudden. And the only way that I've seen is to actually end up using it, so that's a little bit disappointing. So the level is pretty much almost over, and there's only one person left, one single individual, and unfortunately this is not going to end like a slasher movie would. Alright, I'm just going to chill with this one lady here. I mean, we're the only ones left in this club. I mean, I would hope that, you know, we could dance, or, you know, we could have a good time. You're walking away from me. Why, you walking away? You want to dance? Dude. Okay, that's it. Yep, everyone is dead, and that's how you finish off the level. And so you have a celebratory dance in the middle because, well, that's what you do. Now, I want to show you one more map, but I want to show you the score screen here. So kills, combos, traps, escape, and time bonus all play into your overall score. So the faster you are, how many times you're able to escape the cops, so on and so forth. That's what is going to give you what you need in terms of, you know, the highest score output. I was going to show you a cutscene. Apparently, I decided not to at that point. The story's all right. It's not what you anything that you should expect in terms of, like, you know, a great narrative. It's just sort of comical, and it's very similar to Hotline Miami in that case. Now, I want to play as a lady here and show you that sometimes you can be very efficient. Now, there are two phones in each level from what I've seen, and in the top left corner, there is a phone. And I decide, well, you know, I'm just going to have some fun with this. So I'm just going to, well, I'm going to first start with the speaker here, explode that, but I wanted to show you guys what happens when you get caught by the cops. What I wasn't expecting was to go on the streak that I did at this point. So I go to stab this person. You know, people are going to go and try to call the cops, but I'm right in front of the phone, so they're just getting stabbed over and over again, and I'm getting combos because of it. Now, it's silly because there's a phone right over there that you could easily go to and, you know, deal with, and eventually somebody finally decides that, hey, guess what, I'm gonna do that. But I get a good 21 kills before anyone decides to go for that other phone. And the interesting part of this specific map is that there's no exit points. I could try to run around and figure out, like, okay, can, you know, I escape the police? But really, in this case, it's going to be one time and I'm dead. Now, there are some items that can help you in certain cases, like I can change clothes and things like that, but that is a random drop. Now, I had a bunch of fun with Party Hard, and in particular, the strategy elements of knowing who to take out and what to do in terms of using your environment. That's where the core gameplay lies, and it does it very well in that case. Variety is where the game is going to suffer, and the question is, will the core experience be cheap enough for a person to want to play this game for the first or second time through? And those score attack people, again, I'm not one of those people, but I can see that working for them. But in the end, I don't know what the price is at this point. The developer actually told me that he wasn't sure what he was going to set it to. I can see this game working for a $5 to $10 range. I can definitely see that. I would probably say that it'd be more in like maybe the $8 range, or, you know, $10 range, given what you expect out of the game in terms of, you know, the gameplay that I've showed you here. If it's what you were expecting in terms of what I've shown you and what I've described to you, it's definitely a $10 game in terms of, hey, guess what? It really does work. Now, one thing I do want to say is the fact that the cops' logic is rather up and down in terms of, like, sometimes they'll chase you, like, all over the place, and then some they'll just give up like that. And I'm not exactly sure where the logic is there. Same thing with the bouncers. Sometimes they'll, like, you know, chase you to the ends of the earth, and sometimes they'll just give up at that point. All right, this is Dragnix signing out. I hope you guys got an idea of exactly what Party Hard has to offer. Again, I will leave the Steam review in the description below. And again, like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. I will see you guys later. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you like this content and want to see more of it, you may want to hit that subscribe button on the left-hand side. If you like this video and want to see more of this content, take a look at this video on the left-hand side as well. And if you missed my last video, take a look at the right-hand side. Once again, thanks for watching, and keep on gaming.